Good morning, students. In yesterday's video, I explained program number from the solve exercise, program number 32. Okay, that is travel class travel. So today I'm going to explain program number 33. Okay, class garment in C++ with the following description. So the program number 32 and 33 both there is some similarity. They both are like same, but there is some slight difference in the program, okay, in how the source code is written. So the build up of the program is same, but there are some slight changes. Okay, so just to show you the difference between the previous program and this program. Okay, so that way you can understand as you go through these two programs. Okay, if you if you'll notice in yesterday's program, okay, you had private data members. Okay, so based on the class travel, okay, you had some uh, data members which could be related with the real world ticket systems, right? You had adults, a number of adults, children's, distance, total fare, like that. So you, and then using the string copy function, okay, you assign the keyword null to the data member T code. Okay, and then in the source code you could see that the calling function assign fare was assigned to the total fare, so that way the value was returned back, return fare, and as to the calling function, and then stored in the variable total fare. Okay, similarly some equations were solved. Okay, so similarly here also, okay, the class garment, so you can also see that this could be related with the real world like garment, like you have the garment code, which is of type string. Okay, garment type G type string, G size integer. Okay, so G code could be related with the identification of that garment. Okay, and then G type, as in this case the garment type, you have two values there, that is one string value is trouser, another string value is shirt. So it could be trouser or shirt. Okay, and the price is also given here. So for that you have two variables, that is one is the G type, okay, which holds the string values, and then the other one is G price of type float. Okay, so G price will hold uh, the value, the price of that particular trouser or the shirt. Okay, along with that you have the G size. Okay, and then that means like the size of the trouser or the size of the shirt, like that. The fabric, okay, in this case the example is given here cotton. Okay, and if it is not cotton, okay, then different values, like that, right? So first, in here, a function assign which calculates and assigns the value of G price as follows. Okay, so a function assign, so you have a member function which will calculate, that means in this member function body, okay, this will be calculated, okay, which calculates and assigns the value of G price. Okay, and then what will happen is that it will assign the value of G price. Okay, now this sentence is same, okay, as the previous one. In the previous also, a function assign fare which calculates and assigns the value of data member total fare as follows, right? So for that, what happened was that in the previous program, okay, you ask and assign the value to total fare, right? So for that purpose, okay, the calling function was assigned to the total fare using the equal to symbol, right? And in that case, we had, and if it was assigned, that means the this function body must return a value back to the calling function. So for that purpose we had return fare, so that value was returned back to the calling function. Why? Because a variable was there to store the value which was um, equated in the assigned fare, calculated in the assigned fare function body. So if, okay, this variable is not there, okay, so this calling function will not return any value, this return fare will not be there. Okay, so you can see that in this program, okay, um, a function assign which calculates and assign the value of g price. Okay, so but it is not assigned to this g price. Okay, and there's no return value, so quite the opposite. So we can also do it like in the previous program also. Okay, we can write, instead of that, we can write g price equals to assign. Okay, so this part, okay, if you see, yes, uh, so the private data members are declared here. Okay, and then this is the member function body. Okay, member function body for the assign. Okay, so this is the this is the call function, and this is the function definition section. So here the function body is written here. Okay, now after that, the value of g fabric as cotton. Okay, if it is cotton, okay, if the fabric is cotton, then trousers will be assigned the value 1300 and shirt will be assigned the value 1100. Okay, but if it is not cotton, okay, the above mentioned g price gets reduced by 10%. So what will happen is that these two values, rupees, will get reduced by 10%. Okay, now under the member function, a constructor to assign initial value of g code, g type and g fabric with the word not allowed, and g size and g price with 0. So g code, g type and g fabric, since they are string type, okay, they will be assigned the word not allowed. In the previous program, okay, it was assigned null. So that's why here string copy was used to assign the value null to t code, right? But in this program, you see that um, under the input, yes, under the input member function body, okay, no, no, yes, here under the constructor, okay, under the constructor, so this is your default constructor. So under the constructor function body, okay, so the constructor is defined here. So g code is assigned the value not allowed, g type is also assigned the value not allowed, and g fabric is also assigned the value not allowed using the string manipulation function string copy. Okay, so string copy copies the source to this destination, that is the g code. So here it is written here not allowed. Okay, and in the previous program it is written here null. So whether it is written here null or not allowed or anything, okay, it won't matter, because it does not make any changes, because anything written within double quotes, okay, string, right, is acts like a comment. So that value will be stored here. Even if you write here null, okay, it won't make any changes. Okay, so what happened is that uh, and then g size equals to 0 and g price equals to 0. Okay, now why this is a default constructor, right? Now even if this constructor is not invoked or is not declared here, okay, or is not defined here, then what will happen is that by default, when the object gets declared by the class, okay, the default constructor will be called, and the default constructor, even if it does not have a function body, it will automatically uh, allot the default value to the string and the integer type. Okay, so for the string, it will allot the value null, or in this case not allotted. Okay, by default, the string variable will be allotted null. Okay, and in the case of integer or float variables, okay, like g size or g price, it will be allotted the value 0. So the default value is 0, and the default value for string is null. Okay, so here it's written here not allotted, which is same. Okay, so the default constructor here is being defined, okay, and it has been assigned the value. Now coming back to the next function, okay, a function input to input the values of the data members g code, g type, g size, g fabric, and invoke the assign function. So if you observe the previous question also, it is written almost the same. Okay, a function enter to input the values and invoke the assign fair function. right? But in this case, invoke the assign fare function. Okay, this line, okay, and this line, okay, was matched, and calculate and assign the value of the data member total fare as follows, right? So here what was happening is that in the ender travel, okay, that means in the where the values were entered, okay, the calling function assign fare was assigned to the total fare, right? So in this case, the same type, okay, under the input member function where you start entering the data, okay, so gets enter the code, gets G code, enter the type. So here you enter garment code and enter the type. Here you enter the type. It may be a trouser, it may be shirt. Okay, so since you have two choice selection, you can enter either like trouser or shirt. Okay, and enter the size, so it can be like medium, large, like that. Okay, and in here enter fabric. So gets function uh, accepts the value that is get under G fabric and stores under G fabric, and that is, it could be if you enter cotton, okay, so cotton trousers, right, or cotton shirt. Or but if you enter suppose like other than cotton, okay, if you enter any other different material, fabric material, okay, then what will happen is that 10% deduction will be there as per the question, right? Okay, so here is where you enter the value, either cotton, okay, if you enter cotton, okay, so based on that the if else statement will get executed. Okay, so in here this is the calling function assign. Assign was placed right here, uh, and invoke the assign function. So here the assign member function gets invoked here. Okay, in the previous program it was written, it should be written here, G price equals to assign, G price equals to assign. But here you can see that in this assign member function body, okay, G price is assigned the value 1300, or in this case in this formula gets executed and is assigned the value. Okay, so in this function body there is no return statement, right? So since there is no return statement, that's why here it is not written G price equals to assign. Okay, if it was written here G price equals to assign, after you get the value of this G price will be declared here as local variable, right? And then here it will be written here return G price, just like in the previous program, return fare. Okay, so that will be return back to the calling function, and that value will be stored in here, right? So similarly it can be done for this program also. Okay, but just to show the students the difference, okay, that uh, the same type of question, okay, but here no return type is produced, right? So here you just have the calling function. Okay, and finally the next one is a function display which displays the contents of the data members. So once this function gets invoked, okay, it calls this call function and then executes this function body. Now how is this equation, okay, how is this program logic solved? Okay, now according to here, for the value of type G fabric as cotton, okay, so if you have selected or if you have entered the fabric as cotton, okay, using the gets function, okay, if you entered as cotton, okay, then what will happen is that either the trouser or the shirt will have the value 1300, 1100. Okay, but if suppose you entered any other fabric other than cotton, okay, both of these price, trousers and shirts, will get reduced by 10%. This is as per the question. Okay, but as per the source code that is provided here, okay, uh, there is only one if and else if statement. Okay, so here what will happen is that if, okay, now you are using the string compare function. Okay, so what will happen is that G fabric, so it will compare this value with this value. Okay, what value is stored in this G fabric, it will be compared with this argument. Okay, so if suppose string compare, okay, it will select, if suppose you have selected cotton, okay, so cotton, okay, and then in this case trousers, right, cotton trousers, then which is equals to 0. Okay, so in that case, if it is equals to 0, then g price will be executed, and then you'll get the value. That value 1300 will be stored in this variable g price. Okay, if you remember in class 11 textbook also, this string compare function was used. If you remember that that particular example, master password, right, password, you had to if you enter the password as master, okay, and then or otherwise, then that compared will be, it will be compared with the value master, and in this value that was stored here, right? So similarly, you can just have a look in your class 11 textbook, okay, how you use the string compare function. Now, as per the textbook, okay, you should have another else if statement. That means else if, okay, string compare, okay, g fabric, suppose like a shirt, then equals to 0, okay, then g price equals to 1100. Okay, then after that only, okay, else if string compare g fabric shirt equals to 0, okay, this formula will be executed. Okay, and another one, the last part will be else, okay, trousers. Okay, so if in this case you enter, suppose like you enter other than cotton, okay, you enter a different fabric. Okay, in that case what will happen is that it will not be equal to, then in that case what will happen is that, okay, uh, this g price will get deducted by 10%. Okay, so now as per the question, okay, actually you are supposed to have these two values for cotton also, okay, trouser and shirt. And in another case, if you have a different material other than cotton, okay, then for trousers and shirt also it will get reduced by 10%. Okay, but since it is written here in the source code like this only, okay, so you cannot modify that, so you have to study it as it is like that. Okay, but I'm just showing you the difference, and then as per the textbook, the question, okay, the changes that you need to be done. Okay, but anyway, you write down it as it is like this, okay, and you study it like this. Okay, so that will be for today. And yes, from next week we'll start with a new chapter. Okay, and uh, yes, pay attention, okay, because like classes and object, constructors, destructors, very important. Okay, and inheritance is again you are implementing the concept of classes and object only. Okay, and constructors, constructor overloading, function overloading, polymorphism, all these things are very much important, so do not neglect your studies. Okay, everyday study. And yes, students, do not be lazy at all. Check the videos, okay, and not only my videos but from online materials also, you search and then you study.